Aloha! Here we are again for the eighth and final video. I have been following the theme of just following when I feel called to film these videos, and today is one of those days. So it's been a while. I would say it's been a year or 2 years. Oh my God. Has it been almost 2 years since I posted my first video? Wow. Well, time flies, and also time stands still in a way. And like sometimes trauma just holds you in its chokehold for a while, and like life still moves by. So I'm happy to say I am at a really different place than I was when I started making these videos, meaning I was really broken, and you guys, I'm sure you guys could see that I was sort of at my wit's end, or just at my breaking point with things, because it's really hard. Like, okay, when it just happens to you, you almost just want to forget it, but when you see it happening to other people and like the abuse still going on, you almost, at least this is for me, I felt that I had to say something so that like more innocent people wouldn't get hurt, or at least it would reach the people that it needed to, which I know that it has. And yeah, where I'm at now is I'm happily back teaching yoga, which I didn't even know that was like part of my, I was like, I really want to be happy again and I want to teach yoga. And so that destiny has come true for me. And teaching at a studio in Edmonton called The Shala, and then also teaching corporate classes and teaching some specialty classes as well. So that's really good. I am happy to say that. What I'd like to focus on doing more is teaching more corporate classes, because I really feel passionate about that, and I love going into different businesses and just joining the team for an hour a week, and everyone is always so happy to see you, and I'm happy to see them too. And it allows me to do my other stuff that I like to do on the side, which I have a Poshmark store. I sell online clothes, both that like of mine and ones that I thrift or find, and then also other people's clothes too that are just cleaning out their closet. And yeah, so I have a lot of fun doing that. And I've been listening to the Call Her Daddy podcast and feeling inspired by the women that she has on that show, and how they're just multi-dimensional. And I would say within sort of the yoga brainwashing, there's like this ideal or this perfectionism that you're sort of always striving for. So that's something that I have even been challenged with breaking out of myself, is growing into that multi-dimensional person that I am, and not just being like, oh yeah, drink all kombucha and green juices and so strict with my sattva diet, blah blah blah. Like, that was really crazy, the sattva cleanse that we did. And basically it was like the ideal lifestyle for you to continue on that all the time, eating like that. And it was very restrictive. So like no milk, no dairy, no meat, nothing processed, like nothing from a package. So basically like whole, just really whole foods and vegetables, but I found myself that I was just like hungry all the time. I was like craving stuff, and sometimes I would like cheat and feel bad and get like a chicken pita pet and even feel sort of like guilty, like I was breaking the rules there. But it was also very hypocritical because the leader, you know what I mean, was like doing whatever, eating whatever. So that was just very weird. And I know, and I want to apologize like for any bad body image that I contributed to through like saying that that was a good thing to do and promoting it, definitely promoting it. Like we were all as teachers told to promote the Sattva cleanse, and we did it twice a year as a studio, but like sort of the teachers were expected to be on it all the time, which is not really any fun at all. Well, you're just not really living. It's a really restrictive lifestyle, and I think that's very telling of all of it in of itself, is that it was a very restrictive lifestyle. And if you got into that, and when you're looking for like a way to better your life, better yourself, things can just go really extreme. So I would say I'm not as extreme, definitely, as I once was. So cheers to that. How have you all been doing, and how are things going with you? I feel stoked that this is going to be just my last video and sort of like over and done with this stage. My vision for the future is that I'd like to have like guests. I'd like to do like a sit down interview, you know, maybe an hour just with different people, and post those on YouTube and maybe podcasts too, because people like to listen, not only watch. And sticking with this theme of getting washed into the extreme scenarios of things, or patterns of abuse or narcissism. And also, people are so much more than just these things that have happened to them or they've experienced. And one thing I also want to say is, like, I'm not the perfect victim. Like, I really never wanted to be seen as that or like held in that regard. Like, yeah, things happen, but I also haven't been perfect in things that I have done. Although there's a difference. I'm not abusing people or taking control of my power or using or manipulating people or getting free labor out of people. Like, there were some really dark things that went on that I experienced and that other people experienced, and that's for them to share if they ever want to share, or if not, that's totally up to them and fine either way. I feel so supported in my coming forward, and even if we're disassociated now, we don't have any association, I still support you, and I know, I feel it, that you support me. It doesn't mean that we're 100% perfect in what we've done, but I want to believe the best in people, and that we are trying our best, and we're all connected in some way, and my story might not be totally your story, or how I would deal with things might not be how you deal with things, but within expressing ourselves and talking openly, we can learn from each other and sort of see those similarity points of, yeah, like, oh, I feel you, I went through that, or, you know, and if we don't talk about it, then we don't know. It's just only left up to the imagination, or like very little bits and pieces of knowledge, which I'm so glad that I've had this forum of YouTube and just being able to sit down and have this like one-on-one conversation with you, which is what I've wanted it to feel like, because if I get it out once and in this way can say it, then it's sort of like I don't need to hold on to it. I don't need to keep repeating it. It's out there. It's there to be seen. It's there to be heard. And I'm so grateful that it's out there still, because, right, I had to go to court over those videos and the initial videos of talking about this. And just a reminder that the judge ruled in my favor, that there was societal benefit for people hearing my story. So, yay! Thank you so much, Lisa Martins. Badass lawyer babe. And thank you to those of you that supported me in getting a lawyer, because that was a big deal too, to find someone to represent me. My dad was a lawyer, and I knew very well that like when you hire a lawyer, they're taking your case, and so you're very much in control. They're very much in control of the timeline and the story and all of it. And I knew that once I, you know what I mean, shared that power with someone, that I would be more restricted in what I could say or what I could talk about. And so I didn't want to get representation until the last possible moments, and under the guidance of women who were like, yeah, definitely, like, you should get representation. So glad that I did that, and definitely recommend finding that support, like in whatever way you need at the time. So whether that's a therapist, like going and talking to a therapist, whether that's talking to a friend, a community member, a church guidance counselor, or priest, you know what I mean, or a guidance counselor at school, or just people that you can talk to at any given time in your journey about what you're going through, and feel like you can have a sounding board, or you're not just so lost in the emotion, because it can get really like cloud your brain. It's helpful to have someone that you really trust at that time to say like, okay, no, I think this is in your best interest. And there are those people that have your best interests at heart. And my hope for everyone that went through something like I went through within that organization, or an organization, a controlling organization, community leader, like what I experienced, that your truth can be heard and you can speak freely about what happened to you, whether that's to thousands of people on YouTube, or whether that's to one friend or one person. Like, talking about it kills the shame and also lets off such a weight from your shoulders. So that's definitely something that I would recommend, and that I'm so grateful for, because like I said, I can only, you know what I mean, I've only had to say it once, and then it can be rewatched, and I don't have to relive it. Like, I've been able to move on, and I feel now sort of done with it all. I've been seeing a therapist. I've been going to, you know what I mean, through my own work and doing my own work. And thank God, like, able to move on from that, but definitely changed from the experience. And I just know that now that wouldn't happen again. All those things that went down, like, I just don't think it would fly. I feel like we're more evolved as peoples and society. Things have really changed over the last 5 years, right? Since 2019, which is like the last contact I had with that community. And it's crazy, it's 2024 now, so 5 years ago. And like, you think grade 1 to grade 6, like, that's so much time and you go through so much growth. And I definitely feel like I'm a bit behind. Like, definitely going through all that was hard on me emotionally and physically and financially. It was really, I'm still recovering from it in those ways, but it doesn't feel like I'm in the thick of it anymore. But I knew it was worth it. Like, when I was going through it, I was like, you have to do this, otherwise you I felt like I would die. I felt like I would rather die than carry around what I was carrying around and see it still going on. So, still here. My mom would be really upset. She's always upset when I say that I would want to die. And like, I don't know, that's just something I felt since I was really young. Like, I'm good. And then when things get to a certain level, I'm like, oh, like, but I don't really feel that way anymore. So maybe that's an evolution for me. Like, I don't really feel like anything could happen to me now that would make me feel like I would want to die. Like, I feel more stable, more devoted to life, more engaged, and like think of life as precious, where there was a time where I was sort of just like living fast, and there was a time when I thought that I would die young, but now I feel like I want to live to be 130. You can probably hear my birds in the background. I have 2 budgies. One's a boy, one's a girl. They're really curious and gregarious creatures. So my dream for my future is I'd like to have more animals, another dog, maybe even a cow and some chickens one day. And I'd like to be in Hawaii. Like, I just love Hawaii. It's perfect all the time. There's water, like it's just so gorgeous there. That's definitely where I'm happiest. Being in nature, being around the warm weather. So who knows, like, who knows when that will happen, or who knows what is in the future. But the good news is that I'm dreaming and thinking ahead. And there was a time when all I could do was reminisce and think back. And like, the past was holding me hostage. So that's a big growth. What else do I want to talk about? That's what I'm asking myself right now. Like, I feel like this is such a privilege to have your attention and to have your listening ears. And I want to just thank you, especially, no, even if this is the first video, but if you've listened to all my videos, thank you for taking the time out of your life to hear my story. And I appreciate it. I really appreciate you for hearing me and seeing me. Hey Gigi, you want to come in the video? I've been working on my tan, but it would be better if I was in Hawaii. My hair is growing. For those of you that don't know, or to remind you, I did a Britney and shaved my head myself down to the scalp. And what you've seen through these videos is the evolution of it growing out, and also the evolution of my head attire. So the update that I've heard about him is not great, but also great, because financial, like your business shutting down, losing a lawsuit against me, then having the court drop the case against you and Jesse Lipscomb. Those are all pretty tough things to deal with. And those are only the ones that like I'm privy to. I also heard that he was like trying to live back out at like where the yurts are. There's like a yurt community out by Elk Island Park. I heard that he was trying to live there, and he was like up to his business allegedly. And you know what I mean? Like tiger doesn't change its stripes. And some of the girls banded together there and just said, no more, like you're out of here. That's what I heard. So can't say if it's true or not, but from a really reputable source, anyone that was hurt from him, I wish you all the best. And I know how hard it is to be brainwashed and to be taken in by this narcissist who comes across with like all these glamorous peacock feathers, and then by the end of the relationship you see them and they're like just like this skinny little chicken body with like no feathers, and they're like ugh, like scrawny and unhealthy, right? So also in my future, I would like a healthy relationship with a man. And someone who's genuine, kind, caring, thoughtful, nostalgic, understanding, etc. The list can go on. Tall, dark, and handsome. And someone who loves me and who I can really love them. Although that's sort of scary to me too, because I really like my freedom and value my freedom and my independence. And I can't imagine sort of catering to a man again and like making just his life the #1 priority. But I guess if you love each other enough and you guys have that understanding, then it's different. Like, you know what you're getting into, and if the love is pure, it's sort of like worth it. But the problem is when there's like manipulation and abuse of power, lying. Did I say manipulation already? Yeah, definitely that. I don't want any more of that. No thank you. No thank you. Whoosh. Goodbye. And in comes the new. So grateful for that. So this video is just gonna be short. I'm just gonna leave it here at like 24 minutes and call it a day. 2 times 4 is 8. This is the 8th video. So we'll just end it here. Again, want to thank you for all of your love and support and for tagging along with me in these videos. And I'm excited for what I'll be able to create next. Thank you. Love you. Bye.